Hello friends, in this lesson I want to show you another lesson on using external textures. The more we practice them, the more important it becomes for us to use textures correctly. I used a texture called plaster from our site textured.com. It's a slightly rough texture, friends. You can use it on ceilings and walls. I will use this on the ceiling. I showed it before. If you remember, you assign the part labeled base color, which is the part with the color box, the part labeled high in displacement. I want to say something about the displacement part. In Vray, friends, try to avoid using displacement because rendering takes a very, very long time. There's no need for displacement. The normal map will do the job for us in every way. When we assign the roughness to the glossiness map, the process is complete. So we will handle our work with 3 textures. There's no need to turn the textures into a mess by going into too much detail, friends. Now look, I want to use it here. I took the eyedropper from the texture section, from the material section. I activated the gloss part. Look, the plaster is already 0 here. I went to edit Vray. I said, friends, look, this is how it appears. Now I can create a new texture or reset this texture. How do I reset it? Normally, friends, I'm going to say something like this. If the checkered flag is lit like this where it says color, it means there is a texture inside. You can right-click and select clear to delete this texture. Look, it has become dim. I'm coming to the reflection part. Look, here too, there is the same checkered flag. I say clear. I close this. Look, the same thing is in the bump section as well, because whichever render engine was used before, its settings will appear, and incorrect settings can affect us incorrectly, friends. That's why we want to bring the color part into the coating we desire. I clicked on this checkered flag. What did I say before clicking on the checkered flag? If you use triplanar, regardless of the surface, whether it's a curtain, a different inclined surface, or a flat surface, the coating will fit without causing issues. I selected triplanar. I came to the Texture X section. I came to the checkered flag here. From the bitmap section, I went to the gray salon part. I selected the base color. From the plaster section, I clicked open, friends. Look, it came here. I came back again. And the size section here shows 10, friends. Normally in UV maps, these values appear low. I will start this from 50, friends. Look, at 50, I was able to see the jagged parts on the screen. I went back and came to this section. Now I will show you how to do it in a practical way. Before doing all the settings, repeatedly, say copy for the upper part and paste it into the lower part, which is the roughness section. So say paste in copy here. Don't say instance. If you say instance, it will make the settings exactly the same. I'm copying, friends. Look, I selected the normal map here. I said paste copy here as well. Now, the process I will do is changing the channels. I clicked, came and clicked here. I clicked here. What should it be here? It should be roughness. I said open. I came back. Look, the roughness appeared. I didn't change it again because the settings were at 50. It appeared instantly. I will do the same thing in the normal map section. However, by lowering the value here, values like 020, 030 will work for me. I'm clicking here. I selected my normal map. I said open. I came back again. And as you can see, I created a textured surface like this, friends. Now let's render to see how the surface looks. This surface is a plated surface that I use, friends. Let's press the render button again. Let's see what kind of result we will encounter. You don't need to tire yourself by going into too much detail and intricacy. In the settings and texture settings, you can create very effective textures with very simple settings. Here, a slight roughness effect, which we call the bump effect or normal map, and a slight reflection effect will always do the job for us, friends. Look. We can see that roughness better over there. It looks more effective in the places where the light falls, friends. I want the render to pass a bit. So, what we call render passes this. In rendering, the processor and graphics card perform an operation with each pass, that is, with each light transmission, friends. We actually call that process a pass, and each time it performs an operation, it corrects this area. How should I put it? By casting light here and performing an operation, it tries to create rougher or smoother surfaces. Look, while we couldn't see the screen at first, now we can see it more clearly. This is how it operates, friends. That's why it's beneficial to apply a certain number of passes. The more passes it applies, the higher the render quality becomes. For example, Let's say 3000 is sufficient. Look, friends, do you see how vibrant the texture we are facing is? It's the same here. If you want to reduce these textures, if you want them to be even smaller, friends, I say stop. You know the part we set to 50, just changing that part is enough. So you come here, change this for all of them. For example, I set it to 40. I reduced it a bit more with this, then went back. I set this one to 40 as well. If you leave it at 50, and if these values remain in the others, the UV maps or coordinates will not match each other. Since your glossiness and normal map do not match, there will be errors in the textures, guys. Look, in this way, we have resolved this part. If you want to apply that texture here, again, you can give the same thing here as well. It has already remained here as a texture platter. In the other parts, guys, I will add accessories to these sections from the Cosmos library. Adding accessories is simple. In our next lesson, I will show them to you guys. It's quite an enjoyable part. It's a system where we continue by adding accessories, adjusting the color texture and the coating texture. If you want, you can change the carpet texture here. Since I will be giving you the working file, you can make any changes you want within the working file, guys. That's all for this lesson. See you in our other lessons.